Well, good morning again from the Center of Spiritual Living. We're going to start this morning with Spirit is in this place. You got the words there on your chair, or you can just follow along. We have come together as a family. We have come here as we are. We have come with hearts wide open. We have gathered here in love. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Raise the roof with shouts of praise. Spirit's in this place. We sing in celebration. We sing with words of praise. We affirm all life as sacred. We declare that peace is here. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Raise the roof with shouts of praise. Spirit's in this place. Well, good morning again and happy Labor Day weekend. We're hoping you have a beautiful day and hope you have enjoyed a beautiful holiday weekend. So let's welcome up Reverend Candace. She's going to be playing two parts today as platform speaker and our minister.
Hi, welcome. I am.
Let's sing it one more time. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Raise the roof with shouts of praise. Spirit's in this
All right, now welcome. And I am Cheryl today because Cheryl was very clever and she broke her foot walking her dog, or her grand dog. And so
Maybe the dog was walking her.
I think the dog was walking her. She got her little foot all wrapped up in the leash and away she went. So I am Cheryl today pulling double duty. And just before we get started, I have just a few announcements. Hooray for Kirkland and Joseph. We are slowly inching our way to finishing up this room. We hope that maybe this week we can be out of this room and on to completing the renovations in the kitchen and other areas of the building. So thank you to them. As you know, we had to cancel Sister Act due to the cast and members getting COVID. So we had to cancel our performer. They canceled the show. And so we are looking at going to Chickasaw Theater doing Big Fish. And it does start next Friday night and runs for 3 weekends. I think for us, the easiest is to go on a Sunday after church. We are assuming that they will not be canceling their performances because of COVID. Larry, do you have any other information on that?
No, I know they're doing social distance seating because they called. We have tickets for Friday night because I have so many friends in it. But they did call and talk about the seating because there's 5 of us, so they wanted to know how they could seat us. So they are doing social distance seating, and they are going to ask you to wear a mask. So I mean, they're taking all the precautions. It's going to be a great show. Like I said, I know a lot of people are in it, and I just can't wait to see the show.
It's one of my favorite shows. I absolutely love the movie. So I'm hoping that we have enough interest to go as a group. We would go. I would like to go on the closing performance, but I'm open to people's input as to whether they would want to. Some of you paid $20 for the lunch and the theater show for Sister Act, so that will just roll over if you want it. Otherwise, we can refund it for you. Just an update on the Renee will be facilitating a new book study class starting Tuesday evenings from 6 to 7:30, beginning September 21st. And that's going through December 7th. And she's doing it on Bishop Spong's book, Unbelievable, and that's a compilation of his essays. And they will take 1 essay a week on that. Love donation of $10 on that. It will be available via Zoom, but it is so much better if you can come in person and take part in that for the discussion. We'll be having it in the library, and there, as you can see, there's plenty of room to social distance in there. John Crowder is planning to do a class starting sometime this fall. John is recuperating from his foot and ankle, and so as soon as the doctor gives him good to go on all of that, we'll be having he'll be looking at YouTube videos. We'll come in here and we'll watch it together, and we'll have a discussion group on the videos. John, do you want to say something more about that?
Well, that's basically it. I'm getting a little better each week, so I'm thinking maybe 3 more weeks and I ought to be ready to go.
Okay,
I'll make it more definite.
Okay, so we'll look in the first couple weeks of October to be starting that. I think is a good plan for that. That also will be a $10 love offering, and we would encourage you to be here. It'd be pretty hard for you to watch the video from a YouTube kind of thing and not participate at the same way. I am offering an accredited class starting this fall. I need to have 4 people in person to take that. If I don't have the 4 people in person, I can refer you to home office, and you can take it online with Zoom in a larger group that way. Because it is an accredited class foundations, there is a $395 charge for that, and that includes your registration with the home office. So that's all the announcements that I have. Did I forget anything? Going once, going twice. Cheryl would be so proud of me. All right. So let's have a reading instead, because we know that these are stressful times, challenging times, and every day brings a choice to practice stress or practice peace. And to illustrate this point, there's a fable that describes a king who offered a prize for the person who could paint the best picture of peace. And there were 2 finalists. One drew a picture of peaceful mountains, fluffy clouds, and a calm lake. The other drew a picture of an angry sky, lightning, and a rushing waterfall. Behind the waterfall was a tiny bush growing from a crack in a rock. And there sat a mother bird in her nest in perfect calm. The king chose the second picture because the anonymous author described, peace doesn't mean to be in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hard work. It means to be in the midst of these things and still be calm in your heart. There's a story about how people respond to stress of crowded refugee boats when they encounter storms or pirates. And the story goes, if everyone panicked, the boat would capsize. But if only one person remained calm and centered in God, that was enough to save everyone. What a wonderful example of how powerful our faith can be. Not only do we affect our own life, but we affect the lives of everyone around us. When we choose peace, we experience God, and no matter what seems to be, deep within, we are calm and serene because we know all is well and life is unfolding exactly as it should. Affirm with me in consciousness, today I choose peace. No matter what is occurring on the outside, I move within to experience the peace and ease of spirit in my heart. I know all is well.
As we prepare for the lesson this morning, let's take a small, short in-service meditation. I'm going to ask you to clear your mind, clear your laps.
Ernest Holmes writes in the Science of Mind textbook, let us learn to see as God must, with perfect vision. With that thought in mind, let's know together, I see myself as God sees me. I know that there is one power, one presence, and one divine essence expressing in, as, and through everyone and everything. This power, which I call God, is the truth of who I am. Every experience I have ever had and all that I am experiencing now is for my highest good, regardless of any appearance to the contrary. I gently release any judgment that I hold about any person, place, or circumstance. Instead, I see everything as God sees it, perfect, whole, and complete. I am open and receptive to the grace of God, the grace of Spirit, which is ever available. I turn my attention and focus on Spirit's love and wisdom, knowing that whatever is going on in the world, whatever appearance is going on, only divine intelligence, infinite love, peace, and joy are present. My heart overflows with gratitude for the many blessings already experienced, and I joyously await the multitude of greater blessings Spirit has in store for me. I give thanks as I release this word to divine law, knowing it is already so. Together we all say, so it is.
From the highest of heights to the depths of the sea, creation revealing your majesty. From the colors of fall to the fragrance of spring, every creature unique in the song that it sings, all exclaiming, indescribable, uncontainable. You place the stars in the sky, you know them by name. You are amazing, God, all powerful, untamable, all stuff we fall to our knees and we proudly proclaim. You are amazing, God. Who has told every lightning bolt where it should go, or seen heavenly storehouses laid in the snow? Who imagined the sun and gives source to its light, yet conceals us to bring us the coolness of night? None can fathom, indescribable, uncontainable. You place the stars in the sky, and you know them by name. You are amazing, God. all powerful, untamable, awestruck we fall to our knees and we humbly proclaim, you are amazing, God. You are amazing, God. Indescribable, uncontainable, you place the stars in the sky, and you know them by name. You are amazing, God. Untamable, all-powerful, awestruck we fall to our knees and we humbly proclaim, you are amazing, God. Incomparable, unchangeable, you see the depths of our heart and you love us the same. You are amazing, God. You are amazing, God. You are amazing, God.
Hey, that's such a fun song. And the Gremlins enjoyed it too.
Of course, I'm sure.
The Gremlins enjoyed it. Before I get started on my talk today, some of you, I'm sure, were expecting our Flames of Faith, which we always do on the first Sunday of the month. And we are in the process of upgrading our computer system, and I have 2 computers halfway working each one. And I was not able to print the Flames of Faith script this morning or over the week, and we don't have an extra copy on premises here due to the renovations that we've been doing in the office. It was at Cheryl's house. And so we will do Flames of Faith next week. And I just want to take a minute and acknowledge today is my daddy's birthday. And if he were still with us today, he would be 97. And I know that he is continuing to sell women's clothes and tell people they can't wear white after Labor Day because he was from Minnesota. But Daddy, I moved south, so next week I can wear that. But happy birthday, Daddy. And I know you're doing well as you continue on your journey. Louise Hay teaches us in all of the works that she has done. She's one of our spirit mentors in Science of Mind. And she says that now is the point of power. And that means that now is the only time that we have to work with and to do something with our consciousness so that something inside of us can change, so that we can then in turn have a different experience in our outer world. And yet, so often we're waiting. We're waiting for something external to be different before we take action in our own lives. And you know, one of the things that I really love about the Science of Mind is that Ernest Holmes teaches us that yes, absolutely, we have to pray and meditate and study and serve and tithe and do all that spiritual work that expands our consciousness. But then we have to take action in our world. Then we have to get up and do stuff. Somebody said to me recently, you know, I would really rather just stay home and pray for a relationship rather than going out and doing the work. And I said to them, well, that's pretty much everybody's story, I think. We'd all like to take the really easy way out, you know, and just have the relationship show up on our door, not have to put ourselves out there or risk the possibility of being hurt or having to kiss a whole bunch of frogs, you know. kissed a lot of frogs before I found the right and perfect person. But, you know, one of the things that people ask me about, they often will ask this question about the science of mind. And that what they want to know is, well, is it true? Do we really, really create our own reality? Because sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow, you know? And I think it's really a valid question for the metaphysical student to really ask. Do we, in fact, create our own reality? And the answer to that is yes. It is absolutely yes. But sometimes we do not create the reality that we are envisioning in our own mind. And I'm going to explain that because I believe that we all have been given dominion to be tremendous co-creators with God, with Spirit, in our own life experience. We have been given the ability, we've been given the power, and we've been given that capacity. And yet, here's the little part that's in parentheses, and yet so often we don't use it. We use it a little bit. We'll use it like a little smidge, a little tiny pinch of this, and it's like, that's it. That's all we use of this infinite creative potential. And that potential that we have available to us at all times. And this is why I think that we're often not so effective or as effective as we could be in creating our own reality. So how many times, and don't raise your hands here, I don't want to embarrass anybody, but I know I can raise mine, but how many of us really know deep down that if we did a particular thing, it would really improve our circumstances, or it would really help our life, or it would really improve the quality of our health? We know. We know what we're supposed to do. We do. It's all right. Again, don't raise your hands. But we'll use this as a very safe example. How many people would like to lose weight? And how many of you already know what you're supposed to do to lose weight? And you're not doing it, right? See, right there is exactly the reason why we are not effective at creating our own reality. The reality that we say we want. See, we know what we're supposed to do. How many people would like to be in a relationship? You really know what you'd like to do is to have a relationship. And you know that you cannot bring that same behavior to this new relationship that you've brought to other relationships, because that just hasn't worked out really very well, has it? So you know that, okay? You know that. And you know that I have to bring a different consciousness to the idea of relationship. But you just don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. And so therefore, you don't actually have the experience of having a wonderful, loving relationship. Or about our health. I know that there are certain things that if we would do, and I bet you know them too, because I know we've all read Dr. Oz on the back of a cereal box or something like that. We know that there are things that if we would do, they would really, really contribute to our aliveness and our well-being and probably our longevity and great physicality here. But we don't do them, right? We don't do them. So now how the universe then responds is like, well, God, Spirit, the universe, whatever you call it, divine intelligence. God says, okay, I've given you the information. I've told you what you need to do here. I've made it a hunch. I've made it an aha moment. I've made it an intuition. And I even got some tall, skinny guy on TV to talk to you about it as well. So now I've given you the message every way I know how to give you this message, and you're still not doing it. This is why we're not as effective as we could be at creating our own reality. Do we understand that? It's important, because this is really, really how it works. Because the expansion, the growth of our consciousness in order to have healing in our life is always an incremental thing. Like, oh, this is the step I need to take now. And this is the step I need to take now. And this is what I really need to do now. Right? And so it's always taking those things, those steps. But so often, and I'm really one of these people, because you can tell on, getting this work done on the building here, I want to go to the final project, the end result. We don't want to do the work involved in the middle part. But here's the thing, I think that the only failure is if we don't try. The only failure really, really, really is if we don't try. See, if we don't do the things we know we're supposed to do, there remains within us all this untapped, infinite, divine potential, godness that we didn't bring forward into expression. Now, in the Old Testament, in the story of Moses, and remember, when I talk about the Bible, I think that everybody in the Bible is us. The Bible is about the journey in consciousness, our spiritual journey back to an awareness of our oneness with God, with Spirit. I think that that's the whole Bible story. And everyone who shows up in the Bible is something that shows up within us on our spiritual path, on our spiritual journey. So Moses, what a guy. I love him. I just love Moses. Moses, here he is. He's minding his own business. He's just tending his sheep. And God speaks to him and says, hey, you. I've been watching you, man. And have I got plans for you? You are going to lead my people out of Egypt. You're going to lead them away from the Pharaoh. They're not going to be slaves anymore. And you're going to lead them into the land of milk and honey. Have I got plans for you? And Moses says, who, me? No. Surely you're not thinking of me. And he does this whole yabbity kind of thing. Not me. And God says, yes, you're the one. You're going to lead my people out of Egypt and out of bondage into a land of milk and honey. And Moses again, he says, surely you must have me confused with my brother. My brother is a much better speaker and a much better leader than I am. And I'm just not going to be any good at this. And so this kind of annoys God if we were going to personify God, and they do in the Old Testament. And really, I've read this several times because we're moving into the Jewish high holidays, the holy holidays. And so I kind of read a lot of Jewish history around that. But this is kind of annoying to God. And I've sat with it this week and I've thought about, well, it's true. How often has God, Spirit, divine intelligence, given us an idea, or we've been divinely guided, and we know what we're supposed to do about anything, anything it can relate to, we know that this is ours to do. And we don't do it. We just don't do it. So Moses, he really, really, really had no choice. And I think ultimately for us, we don't have a choice. We're either going to go home to God now, or we're going to go home to God later. But we're going to go. I heard this wonderful definition recently, and it was that happiness is quite simply this: good health and a short memory. Isn't that wonderful? I love that. You know? That happiness really is just good health and a short memory. And I think, wow, that's true. But what I notice is people seem to have a short memory for the good things and a really long memory for the bad things or the not so good things. I mean, they really do. People have a really, really long, long memory for the bad things. It's like they say, and they're very proud of it, well, I'll forgive, but I'm not going to forget. And so I just want to roll my eyes, and it's like, then what, darling, then you really haven't forgiven. Because if you're still that wounded, you really haven't moved on, have you? In other words, they still have you. They still have power over you. They still have dominion over you. And the greatest, most empowering thing you could do for yourself is to completely unhook from that and move forward. Happiness is good health and a short memory. But you know, it's like this. I mean, here's an example. Imagine if we were all sitting around a campfire, a big bonfire, and we're all sitting around the fire, and somehow, a spark just shoots out of the fire. And we hear the wood kind of crackle and pop, and a spark shoots out of that fire and lands on you. Well, what do? You just brush it off, right? You just brush it off. You don't go, ooh, that spark landed on me. Why did it pick me? Or if you're a metaphysical person, you might go, what was in my thinking that attracted that spark to me? What did I do wrong? Doesn't God, Spirit, love me? Doesn't the fire know how really wonderful I am? In the meantime, you're starting to burn. It doesn't make sense. If it lands on you, you flick it off and you move on. And if you do it quickly enough, there will be no damage at all. Isn't that amazing? But if you hesitate at all, the longer you hesitate, in fact, the more damage there actually is. So I think what it comes down to for us is that, what do you expect from you? Not what do you expect from life, or the government, or people, or things, or the universe. But what do you, what do I, what do we expect from us? Because that's what we're going to have, really. That's really what we're going to experience in life. So if we expect us to be able to embrace everything that comes to us in life, if we expect that we're going to be able to move forward and we're going to have healing, and we're always going to have love in our life, and we're going to always be gainfully employed and prospered, if we really expect that, that's what we absolutely will draw to us from the universal mind. And if we expect, as so many people often do, well, I just don't know. I don't think that I'm up to my life. It just requires so much. And I'm just so tired. Can I just take a break? When can I finally relax? When you're dead. When you're dead. There will be an enormous period of relaxation there. Not here, not now. But you will notice now, because that breath, there's breath in you that is moving into and out of your body. And don't ask me why. You know, that's between you and God. So now is not the time to rest and relax. So what do you expect from you? Do you expect that you have the capacity within you to meet everything that life brings to you? Or do you think that that you're just going to be overwhelmed by everything all the time? Do you think that, yes, I can take whatever life sends my way and I will get through it, because who I am as a spiritual being is bigger than that? And then, in fact, actually, I will even move beyond that into something greater. See, I think it's so important that we realize that you have to feel good about yourself, that I have to feel good about myself. We have to feel good about ourselves. And if you are giving somebody else that power, or something else that power, that's like the spark coming out of the campfire and landing on you. And you just standing there looking at it. Just looking at it, doing nothing. That's like giving something or somebody else the power over how you feel about yourself. And whether you know if you're good or valuable or lovable or worthwhile or any kind of those things. A long time ago, I read this story about Carol Burnett, who I just loved watching her show. Loved her. And so fabulous. And I read this story about when she was going to UCLA. She had a particularly bad home life. Her family was on welfare. Her parents were alcoholics. Nobody in her family had any belief in her ability to succeed. They were not encouraging at all. And yet she had this idea, this crazy, crazy idea, that she was going to star in a Broadway show. And she didn't even have enough money to get to New York to do the audition. But she continued to have this idea that she was going to star in a Broadway show. So speed ahead. Speed ahead. And she did, of course. And as they say, it's all history from there. But here's the thing. It was already done in her mind. It was already a done deal. And this is very much what we teach in the science of mind. So you just need to know the what. You don't need to have to concern yourself with the how. But you do need to know the what. And you can't let go of the what, no matter what the what is. You can't let go of the what. She could have just sat there and said, oh, I just know this is never going to happen. I'm never going to get out of Westwood here. How am I ever going to get all the way over to New York? Or it's so far, I don't have the money. My parents are alcoholics. Nobody believes in me. See, you know, that's easy. That's so easy. It's always easy to come up with all the reasons why now is not the time. This is not the life. But come on. This is the life you've been waiting to live. This is really it. If there really is reincarnation, and I highly suspect that there is, but I don't think it's limited to reincarnation. I think there's much more beyond this life in many forms. But if there is reincarnation, this is the lifetime after gazillions of lifetimes that you've been waiting to live. This is it. This right now. Right here, right now, right now, right now. This is it. So where in our life do we really need to know that it's already done? Even though we may not see evidence of that. Even though we may not have agreement with it from family and friends and people that we work with. Where do we need to see a healing has already happened? Where do we need to see a relationship has already mended? Where do we need to see abundance? Where there is just the appearance of lack. 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 See, this is why in the science of mind, we teach that we have to have a relationship with something that is unseen before anything changes with what is seen. And now, especially now, when things are so difficult in the world for so many people, hurricanes and floods and fires and COVID and what have you, it becomes more important than ever that we have a relationship with the invisible, which is the Spirit of God, the presence of truth, the life, the love within each and every one of us. We have to be in relationship with this invisible if we want anything in the visible world to be any better at all. So this is why we always say, if you don't go within, you'll go without. It's very simple. If you don't go within, you'll go without. So the question I have for us this morning, always questions. What do I actually really want? See, people are often afraid to give voice to what they really want. And Emma Hopkins, one of our mentor teachers here, Emma is very big on stating what your good is. That's her number one lesson in scientific mental practice. It's to say what your good is. And she actually takes it one step further. And she says, your good is your God, because it's all God. So what is it that I want? And then say, okay, I know what I want. I want to have healing in my body, for example. I want to have a job that I like. And please know that Spirit, God, divine intelligence, whatever you choose to call it, does not have any issue with any of that. It's like God is saying, great, terrific, more of me gets expressed by you having a job or a relationship or whatever. So then, after that, what's the consciousness that I need to have to move forward, to have that come forward into my life? How do I need to be on the inside for that to show up on my outside? Because Ernest Holmes teaches us in the Science of Mind textbook, you can have whatever you become in consciousness. He doesn't say that this is a quick, rich scheme. In fact, he says it's not. And the Science of Mind does not promise anything for nothing. But you can have what you become in consciousness. So what's the consciousness that I have to have so I can have a healed body? What's the consciousness I need to have so that I can have a loving relationship? What's the consciousness I need to have so that my project could just really explode into the world around me? Now, there's probably something that in order to have a greater, you have to let go of a lesser, because that's just the law. There's something that we're going to have to let go of. And I don't know what that might be for you. It just might be the story about how the spark flew out of the fire and landed on you, and your life has never been the same because of it. Like, ooh, it smelled and it burned and it singed and blah, 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 blah. But maybe, it just may be time to let that one go. Wouldn't that be wonderful? You know? Here's the thing. The reason why people don't let things go is that they still continue to get value out of it. True. As bad as it was, as much as it didn't work, as much as it doesn't bring them what they want, people don't let go of something like a story because they still get value out of it. So, what if you you would get even more value out of a news story. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be a great present to give yourself? Yeah. So I think to myself, okay, I got to let go of something. I got to let go of something to get the greater. So what do I want? What's the consciousness that I need to have? What do I have to let go of? And then what is it really in my life right now today? What is it that are my priorities for me? What's the most important to me in life right now? So for me, I know what that is. I think about it all the time. That my first priority is my relationship with God, Spirit, Divine Intelligence, the Infinite. My second priority is my family and my extended family. And my third priority is my work. Now I'm in a great position because my work is God, and it all kind of meshes together for me there. So we do need to know at any given point in our life, what are our priorities? Because I'm from Minnesota, and there's an old story about that. There's an old saying that you can't catch a rabbit by chasing 9. You can't catch one rabbit by chasing 9 rabbits, because you'll just be going over here and over here and over there, and just crazy. I mean, what an image. And see, this is what happens when we don't know what our priorities are in life. If I know that the most important thing in my life is my relationship with God, well, then that always gets my good time. And it gets my good energy. And then my next priority is my family. So that gets my good time and my good energy and my, not just the crumbs, not just the scraps at the end of the day. And then my work. That gets my good energy and it gets my good time. Because those things are my priorities. And so I'm just going after one rabbit, not different rabbits. And I have a much better outcome in my life. So our plan for each of us in this next week is figure out, what do I want? And then what's the consciousness that I need to have and develop to have that? And then honestly reflect, what do I have to let go of? Is it a story? Is it a belief? Is it substance abuse? What is stopping me? And then, does this that I want fit into my priorities? So I have to establish my priorities. Because that way, if I start doing these things on a daily, consistent basis, I really will start living the life I came here to live. I want that for me. I want that for all of us. I want that this week. And so it is. So let's turn our attention inward for just a moment. And remember that we are surrounded and filled with a power and a presence and infinite love and infinite potential. And it is God. And God within each and every one of us is the most true, the most real thing about us. We are each made in the image and likeness of God, of Spirit. And now for each and every one of us, I claim that now is the time that we are listening to that voice of God within us that comes to us as a hunch, an aha, a nudge, an inkling, an intuition. That we listen to that voice of God within, and we do that which we know is ours to do. So whether that contributes to our health or making a change in our life so that we can be more free, I know that we follow that divine guidance. Guidance that's always being given, that we now receive with an open, welcome heart. I speak this word for us, that now is the time that we move forward in our life, not attached or limited to things in the past, but here, now, today, in this present moment. And moving forward into a future that's absolutely bright in every way. We celebrate with joy. So we include in our prayer today our family members and friends and loved ones. And we know that God's perfect presence is right where they are, that they are filled with this infinite loving spirit. We let our prayer be a blessing in the world. So all of this stuff that doesn't look so good in the world around us, that causes fear and uncertainty, we say that God is right there, that there is a perfect spiritual activity unfolding, and that all needs are met. We claim peace and harmony and right action. We bless our church. We bless all churches. We bless all paths to God. And I know that it's with an open, full, and gracious heart that we give thanks and release this word into God's perfect law. I know that good and only good comes from it. And together we say, and so it is.
In a dry and weary land, Lord, you are the rain. In a sea, the shattered ones, your love comes rushing in. You hold the world within your hands and see each tear that falls. Through every fire and every storm, you're always enough, always enough. Your love is peace to the broken, faith for the widow, hope for the orphan, strength for the weak. Your love is the anthem of nations, rings out through the ages, and you're always enough for me. You keep my heart in perfect peace. My life is in your hands. When confusion hides my way, you're always enough, always enough. Your love is peace to the broken, faith for the widow, hope for the orphan, strength for the weak. Your love is the anthem of nations, rings out through the ages, and you're always enough. I rejoice, for my spirit reigns. I rejoice, for he lives in me. God on high, you have set me free, and I'm worthy of your love. I rejoice, for my spirit reigns. I rejoice, for he lives in me. God on high, you have set me free, and worthy is your love. Your love is peace to the broken, faith for the widow, hope for the orphan, strength for the weak. Your love is the anthem of nations, rings out through the ages, and you're always enough. I rejoice, I rejoice, I rejoice. 'cause you set me free. 'Cause you live in me. And I'm worthy of your love. In the dry and weary land, Lord, you are the rain.
Well, the Gremlins really want to sing along with you. We'll have to talk to them. All right. So we come to the portion of our service that we call the affirmative giving. This is our opportunity to know that God, Spirit, divine intelligence is the source and substance of all good in our life. It's an exciting thing to know, and it builds confidence for all of the events that go on in our life. So I'm going to I'm going to read our affirmative giving affirmation, and then I'm going to have us sing along with Larry 2 verses of I Am So Blessed, and then we're going to dance up to our baskets here, and we'll either deposit our gifts and tithes, and we'll bless our baskets. If it's not your week to give and tithe, that's fine. Just bless the basket. Be sure you take an affirmation card, because that is Spirit's message to you for the week. And I'll share what mine is later. So join with me in consciousness as I say, from the love of pure Spirit, I bless this gift. It is evidence of my faith and conviction that God, Spirit, divine intelligence is the source and substance of all good in my life. I send it forth to heal, prosper, and bless. I know this gift returns to me multiplied abundantly.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. One more time. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so
And on behalf of the Center for Spiritual Living, I accept these gifts, these tithes, these blessings. And I know For the givers, their gifts and tithes and blessings return to them multiplied tenfold, and so it is.
So it is.
And I know Mr. John was out here and with us today, and he was working with you on some treatment work, so tell us what you did.
Well, we discussed today what it meant to be of service.
Perfect.
And it turns out they had some examples to share with me how they have done exactly that.
All right. Share with us.
Why, thank you. I don't quite remember how old I was when this happened. I remember one time we were eating at a pizza restaurant and we had a box of food. There was a guy on the street begging for food, and we gave him the food we had left over. Of course, Sean yelled at me about the onion rings, but it's a funny thing. But yeah, that's my example.
I remember early this summer, we decided that we had some big coats and stuff that we didn't need anymore, didn't fit. So we grabbed food and like hand sanitizer and masks from Dollar Tree, and we went downtown and we set them on a bench for people that needed it. That's what we did. We have an affirmative prayer, and I'm going to read it. It says, God is everywhere. God is of service to mankind. I am part of God. I am in service to the peace of God. I have intention to serve others without receiving something in return. I give thanks for the opportunity to serve people in need. The world works for true and release to God. And amen.
All right. Good job, guys, and good service work that you're doing. Okay. Do we have any questions, comments, agreements, disagreements from the floor on the talk today?
Nothing here.
Okay, and nothing, everybody's out playing on Labor Day.
Well, the only comment we have to fix, somehow we're sideways to everybody. And we were like that 2 weeks ago too, so maybe we've got the phone but we'll get it.
Okay. Oh, they could all lay down in bed.
That's
See, I was thinking that they should be in
what-
bed. That's what the whole thing is. So no questions, no comments, going once, going twice. Okay. Then I think what we should do is we should close out with our Buddhist prayer, and you should have that on your chair. And I'll find one off my chair. As we say together, I allow all things to be healthy. I allow all things to be peaceful. I count my blessings at least once each day. I forgive those who have hurt me and those who have offended me. And I forgive myself for what I have done. And I let go of what I have failed to do. That which is done, there is no need to speak of. That which is past, there is no need to blame. I possess self-knowledge, self-respect, and the courage to dare. I am tranquil, and the light of intelligence shines through me. I make the spot where I stand beautiful, and beauty and harmony follow me in all my days and all my ways.
Now let's close out with Let There Be Peace on Earth.
Let's do it.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be.
consciousness of peace.
I live in the consciousness of peace.
I release all fear.
I release all fear.
Life is good.
Life is good.
And I'm good in it.
And I'm good in it.
And so it is. Have a great 4th of July, not 4th, Labor Day. Celebrate, be safe, and see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Don't turn that off yet.
Don't?
I want you to rotate it for me.
Okay.
Just rotate the phone.
Okay, I'm looking to see if it's rotating.
Just try to take the phone out and rotate it.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, great. There
Bye.
you go. Look,
Bye.
Candace.
Okay.
Candace, that's it. Got putting the phone in wrong.
Are you sure? Because
Yeah.
the other one was this way, Joel.
No, for you.
Oh,
Oh, but still not for us. Everybody's posting wrong like that. So we gotta look at that too. We'll figure out sound and video.
Larry,
Uh-huh.
kids are supposed to look for opportunities this week to be of service at home.
That's